Good morning, students. In my previous class, I have tried to discuss some of the facts related to the beginning of the history of English language and literature. Today, I have a good mind to discuss with you a very beautiful poem written by a very seasoned poet of the Romantic movement of the early 19th century. This poem is short, but it is very deep in meaning. The poem is "A slumber did my spirit seal." Before coming to the poem, "A slumber did my spirit seal," we should know something. We should know a few things about the poet. The poet is here. This poem, this beautiful lyric, has been written by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is one of the pioneers of the Romantic movement of early 19th century, that is also known as Romantic Revival. Now, I must think, or it comes into my mind, that some of you might be curious to know the fact that if in early 19th century we have Romantic Revival, it means Romanticism might have been there in English literature. And what was that period? Because revival, the word revival means phir se aana, coming back. It means there must have been a period, there must have been an age in English literature which must have been known as the Romantic period, Romantic age. Dear students, of course, 16th century, that is the Elizabethan age. Elizabethan age is considered to be the Romantic age in English literature. And William Shakespeare, you must have heard the name of William Shakespeare, a poet playwright of 16th century, or you can say Shakespeare can't be confined to any century. No doubt he belongs to 16th century because he has got his birth in that particular age, but Shakespeare has transcended, you can say, the limit of age or the limit of time or the limit of space. So that particular age, that is the Elizabethan age, is the age of Romantic Revival. And here, after Elizabethan age, so many ages have come, that is Puritan age, to Augustan age, and etc. etc. And after that, after Augustan age, you can say once again the poetic epoch, that the poetic epoch that comes into vogue, that comes into existence, is known as the poetry of Romantic Revival. Now William Wordsworth is the pioneer, and there are some other poets also. Since he is the pioneer, and the group of Romantic Revival consists of the four poets, you can say. Basically, there are the four poets, four pillars, and these four pillars are William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge, P.B. Shelley, and John Keats. These four poets are the four strong pillars of the edifice of Romantic Revival of early 19th century. William Wordsworth has done a human service. He is a poet of nature, you can say. The poetry in 18th century has become town poetry. It was cut from nature. That poetry was full of verbosity, you can say, full of pedantry. That poetry, if you ask me, to humbly I will say that poetry did not touch the heart of the poet. That was you can say that was a heady poetry made for the head. Political poetry, the poetry of politics or this or that. There was no place for nature, for natural activities, for natural objects in the poetry of that period. So poetry has become a bit boring, you can say. The poetry has become juiceless, you can say. The poetry has become sapless, and in that sense, you can say. So Wordsworth brings a change, and he asks poetry, he takes poetry back to the lap of nature, and natural objects finds place in that poetry. That poetry becomes the poetry of heart, you can say. The poetry touches the heart of the poet. So Wordsworth has written so many poems, you can say. The poems he has written: Tintern Abbey, the Solitary Reaper, you can say the Daffodils. You might have the Excursions. Some of you must have read the poem Daffodils, and some of you must have written the poem. Read the poems the Solitary Reaper. So likewise, in almost all those poems, you might have seen that Wordsworth has a keen love for nature, and if he has love for nature, since Lucy is also a thing of nature, and here in the poem "A Slumber Did My Spirit Sail," he is describing his love for Lucy. And as I have told you, if you have books with you, you should open the book and see the lines. The poem is "A slumber did my spirit sail." Slumber is a word, it means deep sleep. Spirit here stands for the sense. That means you can say the perceiving power, the power of perception. We are blessed that we have the power of perception, and it is because of this power that we perceive things. Seal means close. You might have witnessed, you might have seen in post offices, or sometimes we seal the envelope. Where the envelope is sealed, it is sealed. That means it gets closed. So here the poet is describing a situation. The poet is talking about a situation, about a time where his sense of perception is not working, you can say. He is in deep sleep. Students, the poem describes the poet's condition. The poem describes the poet in a very different condition, you can say, in a very different state of mind, different state of mood. The poet is in love. The poet loves Lucy. Wordsworth has written so many poems in which he talks about Lucy. So there are poems regarding Lucy, and those poems come under the category of Lucy poems. But this poem, however, the poem talks about Lucy, but this poem doesn't belong to the poems of Lucy series. No doubt. Here the poet is talking about his love for Lucy. The poet is in deep love. What happens? What happens when some of us fall in love? If you might have seen someone, a person who falls in love with a studies, then he forgets everything. And he keeps on reading and reading and reading. He is lost in that. If there is a person, if there is a player, he is lost in game, so he forgets everything. When any one of you might have witnessed such thing, or you might have such a feeling in future. What happens जब हम किसी के साथ लव में होते हैं? We forget everything. We forget eating, we forget drinking, we forget everything. So here, the poet, however, the poet is in this world, living in this world, but he is transported in the world of ecstasy, you can say, in a different world, in a world where is nothing but joy and joy and joy. That world is the world of love. That world is the world of delight, of happiness. There is no place for worry there. There is no place for doubt there. There is no place for death there. That place is a place full of life. जीवन से भरा हुआ वह स्थान है जहाँ डर की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, जहाँ केवल हंसी ही हंसी है, मुस्कुराहट ही मुस्कुराहट है. Smile and smile and smile is there. The poet says a line, see the line, a slumber did my spirit seal. I had no human fears. A slumber did my spirit seal. In the first line, we have a beautiful alliteration of the sound S in slumber. S, spirit S, and seal S. The poet says that he is in a deep swoon, you can say. मूर्छा जिसको आप कहते हैं. He is in बेहोशी, you can say. बेहोशी में है. He has not. He has drunk, you can say. He has drunk the wine of love. And he is in a drowsy state of mind. Therefore he says, a slumber did my spirit seal. His spirit has been sealed by that slumber, by that swoon. And what has happened? What is the result of that sealing of the spirit? The poet had no human fears, had in H and human H. It means there is once again there is an alliteration of H sound. I had no human fears. Basically, we human beings have some fears. Fear of accident, fear of night, fear of darkness, fear of this, fear of that, etc., etc. But since the poet is not living in this world, since his power of perception has gone blunt, since he is transported into a different world, he has lost everything. His power of perception is not working. उसका जो पावर ऑफ परसेप्शन है, जिससे वो आप जो आपकी जो सेंस ऑर्गन्स हैं, जो आपको बताते हैं फियर्स के बारे में, वो काम नहीं कर रहा है. इट इज नॉट वर्किंग. ही इज सिंपली लॉस्ट. ही इज लॉस्ट इन हिज love for Lucy. Other ideas, other things do not come in his mind. And how can? He is in swoon. He is drunken. Therefore, he is not at all afraid of anything. जब आप प्यार में होते हैं, मोहब्बत में होते हैं, तो कहाँ कुछ सूझता है? न दिन सूझता है, न रात सूझती है, न समय का पता चलता है. टाइम गेट्स कोएगुलेटेड. समय जैसे कि जम जाता है, समय ठहर जाता है. समय ठहर गया है पोएट के लिए. पोएट को कुछ भी एहसास नहीं है व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द वर्ल्ड. उसको कुछ पता नहीं है कि he has no idea regarding the passing of time, regarding the courses of the earth. Nothing. He is in deep love. He is in deep swoon, you can say. And then he's once again further he says, she seemed. Here, she is Lucy. She is the beloved of the poet, you can say. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly years. Dear students, time is the most important factor in our life. It is the time that rules. Time is the mighty thing. It is with the passing of year that we grow on and grow and grow on, and one day it is because of the time, it is the time that brings our end. Since the poet is not living in this world, he is transported into that world, and in the world of love there is no death, there is no time. As I have told you, इस समय वहां पर जम जाता है. Time gets coagulated, time gets freezed there. समय वहां पर जम जाता है. समय वहां समय में कोई there is no flow. The river of time doesn't flow there. समय जम गया है. The poet says that see that his beloved is beyond the compass of time. Mind it. आप सब लोग ध्यान दीजिए. We all human beings, almost all the living creatures or non-living creatures also, everything is under the compass of time. It is the time that gives birth, and it is the time that takes one away. It is the time that fosters, and it is the time that kills. But the poet, since the poet's sense of perception is not working, he thinks that his beloved is beyond the control of time. His love is permanent. His love is not going to die. His love is not going to be old. She will always be young. She will always be fresh as the morning, as fresh as the roses of June. So, as you see, this poem consists of 8 lines and is divided into 2 stanzas, and each stanza of the poem consists of 4 lines. So in the first stanza of the poem, the poet presents himself in a trance. His sense of perception is not working. His condition, he refers himself as a person who is in deep sleep. The stanza presents his sleepy condition. And here his sense of perception is ineffective. It has gone ineffective. It is not working. And since it is not working, he has no human fears. He is not at all afraid of time. Time is no entity for him. Time has no identity for him. He is completely lost. He is in that world. He is transported into the world of ecstasy, great joy, permanent जिसको आप कहते हैं, क्योंकि प्यार से बढ़ के कहीं कोई आनंद है ही नहीं, तो he is in ecstasy, you can say. And there he finds it seeps into his mind, you can say, that his beloved, his Lucy, is immortal. Her youth is permanent. She is not going to lose her youth. She is not going to lose her charm. She is not going to age. Everything. This is the first stanza. But see, the second stanza. No motion has she now, no force. Unfortunately, his beloved passes away. His beloved dies. The death puts her icy hands upon his beloved. Earlier, in the first stanza, his beloved has every activity, you can say. She has motion, she has emotions, everything. But now, in the second stanza of the poem, she is not a living identity, you can say. She is dead. The second stanza presents the poet in a different state, different mood. He describes here his Lucy, telling Lucy has no motion now. There is no movement in Lucy's body. अब कोई movement नहीं है उसके शरीर में. No motion has she now, no force. We find 2 times. There is the use of no 2 times, and it is in figure of speech. It is repetition. When repetition is a figure of speech, when we repeat a particular word more than once in a line. So here in this line, no motion has she now, no force, no has been repeated 2 times. So there is a repetition here. No motion. Who has no motion? Lucy has no motion. No motion has she now. No force. जब आदमी जिंदा होता है तो a man has a strength. A man has force, and a dead man has no strength, has no force, and that is the condition with Lucy, because Lucy is no more. She has passed away. It is a tragedy. A tragedy has taken place in the life of the poet, where his beloved, his sweetheart, whom he loves a lot, is dead, has gone away, has passed away. She neither hears nor sees. Who is she here? She is the beloved of the poet. She neither hears. So she is not in a position to listen. How can she listen? Have you seen? क्या आपने देखा है किसी भी मरे हुए व्यक्ति को सुनते हुए? अगर आपने देखा होगा तो बताइए, किसी ने, आप लोगों में किसी ने, हैव यू सीन एनीवन, किसी ने देखा है मरे हुए को सुनते हुए, हंसते हुए, रोते हुए? नहीं देखा होगा, नहीं हंसता है वो, नहीं हंस सकता है। तो सी नीदर हियर्स नोर सीज, सी इज डेड वन, rolled round in Earth's diurnal course. The poet, no doubt, Lucy is dead. The poet knows this fact very well, that Lucy is no more, she has passed away, she is dead, but he is not in a mood to accept this death. He is not going to believe that his beloved is dead. Lucy is dead. His mind doesn't say this. His mind is not going to keep this fact, to have this fact that Lucy is no more, Lucy is dead. वो मानने के तैयार नहीं है। तो what does he do here? He is philosophizing. He is philosophizing, दार्शनिकरण। लूसी के डेथ का दार्शनिकीकरण कर रहे हैं पोएट यहाँ पर। He is philosophizing the death of Lucy, telling Lucy is, who says Lucy is dead? कौन कहता है भाई? Who says? You say, who says? No. Love never dies. Lucy can't die. Lucy has not died. She has changed her shape only. Only there was one Lucy, single. But now she has become a natural entity, you can say. Lucy is there in the every atom of the earth, every atom of the nature. प्रकृति के कण कण में, प्रकृति के अणु अणु में there is Lucy and Lucy and Lucy. Lucy is in the trees, Lucy is in the stones, Lucy is in the mountains, Lucy is flowing in the river. Lucy is moving with the earth. Lucy is there in the sunrise, Lucy is there in the sunset, Lucy is there in the moon, Lucy is in the night, Lucy is in the stars, Lucy is everywhere. हर कण, हर क्षण, हर पल अब लूसी है। Therefore she says rolled round, the alliteration of R sound. Rolled, घूमना, that is move. She is moving, you can say. The earth moves, you know, the earth goes on moving. And it is because of the movement of the earth that we have the changes in season, we have days and night. To roll round in Earth's diurnal course, as I have told you, Earth has two diurnal courses. One brings the seasonal changes, and the other one brings day and night. So the Earth is always on move. So since Lucy has become a particle of the Earth, so she is moving like the earth, she is moving with the earth, she is with rocks. If the earth is moving, the rocks are moving, the trees are moving, stones are moving, everything which is upon the earth are moving with the earth. So since Lucy has become a particle of the earth, अब वो धरती Lucy has, you can say that Lucy has become the earth, you can say. लूसी अब धरती के एटम में है, कण कण में है उसके. She is in the every atom of the earth. She is in the every particle of the earth. Therefore, Lucy is always on move. Lucy is always on move. So in the second stanza, we find that the poet philosophizes the death of Lucy. Earlier, in the first stanza, the poet has no human fears. The poet was in deep trance. There his sense of perception was not working. Since his sense of perception has gone ineffective, it has gone blunt. But now when he comes, he faces this dark aspect of life, that is death. Lucy is dead, but he says Lucy is not dead. She is living. She is living in the particles of the earth. She is throbbing, you can say, throbbing. She is throbbing in the heart of the earth. अब लूसी क्या है? धरती के दिल में धड़कन बन के धड़क रही है. तो the poem, you can say, in these two stanzas we find the poet in two states of mind. The poet is in two states of mind, you can say. The first, the poem presents the short notes in the explanatory notes we have, the poem presents a definite contrast between the dreamlike first stanza. In the first stanza, the poet is in dreamlike situation. He is in a dream. As I have told you, the poet is in a trance. Poet एक trance में, he is transported into the world of fantasy. कल्पना की दुनिया में वो है. और कल्पना की दुनिया में, dear students, dear friends, there is no death. There is joy and pleasure and happiness is there. तो उस दुनिया में वो है, तो he is in a dream-like situation. वो स्वप्न देख रहा है. He is dreaming rather. So the first stanza presents the poet in a dream-like situation with its promise that Lucy will never die. In that dream-like situation, he thinks that Lucy is immortal. She is a thing upon which death can't put her icy hand. She is a thing which does not come in the compass, under the compass of time. She is rather, you can say, she is ageless. She is not going to age. She is not going to die. Her youth is permanent. She will always be young and young and young. But unfortunately, since you know, whoever comes upon this earth has to pass away. जो भी आता है उसको जाना है इस दुनिया से. कब जाना है? When one has to go, how one has to go, we do not know. It is always under the curtain of time. So unfortunately, the poet's beloved Lucy dies, and in the second stanza, the poet is shocked. You can say, poet shocked है, सदमे में है poet. The second stanza of the poem presents the poet in a condition of shock. You can say that is a shock of the realization of the bitter reality of death. Lucy is no more. No motion has she now. No motion has she now. Has she now no force? The lines. See the lines. See. No motion has she now no force. She neither hears nor sees. So that is in the second stanza, the poet is shocked, you can say, but still he is not. He is, as I have told you earlier also, that he is philosophizing the death of Lucy, telling that now everything living or dead is a subject to the laws of nature. Everything living or dead is subjected to the law of nature. So Lucy has just changed his say. Earlier, Lucy was single one, and now Lucy is there in the each and every particle of the earth. You must have understood what the poet wants to say in the poem. The poem, in a nutshell, I must tell you, the poem is a lyric. It is a short lyric having vast meanings. You say this poem, no doubt, is short in shape, but it is very vast like the ocean, you can say, as far as its meaning is concerned, as far as its effect upon the reader is concerned. जहाँ तक इसके प्रभाव की बात है, इसका जो प्रभाव है जो रीडर्स के ऊपर बहुत व्यापक प्रभाव पड़ता है रीडर के ऊपर. The poet talks of his love for Lucy. Once again, I must remind you that this poem no doubt talks of Lucy, but this poem doesn't belong to the Poem of Lucy series. The poem narrates about the poet's love for Lucy. In the first stanza, the poet is in dreamy situation. He is in a dreamlike situation. He is in a swoon, you can say. He has drunken. He has drunk the wine of love, you can say. He is transported into that world, into the world of love, and there he has lost his power of perception. His power of perception is not working, as it has gone numb, it has gone blunt, you can say. जब आपका जब शरीर का कोई ऑर्गन है, जब बहुत देर तक आप पैर नीचे रख के रहते हैं, पैर आपका झुनझुन लगे, आपको जब चींटी काटी जाती है, आपको प्रभाव नहीं पड़ता है, तो his sense of perception has gone numb, you can say, NUMB, numb, बहुत थोड़ा. And there he thinks that Lucy is beyond the control of time. She is beyond the clutch of time. She is beyond the hold of time. Time has no say upon Lucy. Time can't do anything wrong with Lucy. समय Lucy का कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ सकता है. She is young, ever fresh. She is not going to wither away. She is not going to fade away. She will always be fresh. There, in the second stanza, the poet has to face the stark reality of life. Since it is a clear-cut conception that living or non-living thing both has a span of time upon this earth, both has to vanish, both have to depart today or tomorrow. So Lucy dies. The poet is shocked, and in that shock he is not ready to believe this stark reality, rather this death of Lucy. Therefore he philosophizes the death of Lucy, telling that no doubt now she has no motion, she has no movement in her body, she can't breathe, she can't laugh, she can't smile, she can't smell, but Lucy has changed her shape. Now Lucy is there in the mechanical, you can say. Here the poet says the speaker narrates the story of Lucy's transformation in terms of cosmic forces. Rocks, soil, trees, rivers, all these things are cosmic forces. So after her death, Lucy's identity has been changed, you can say. Earlier Lucy was a human being. Now Lucy is an you can say an earthly identity, you can say. Lucy is there in the earth. She has dissolved. She has got dissolved into the earth. Now she is in each and every particle of the earth. So in the first stanza, a slumber did my spirit seal. Here the last word, here it is seal. In the second line of the first stanza, the line ends with the word fears, and once again the third line ends with feel. So here the first line rhymes with the third line, you can say, and the second line rhymes with the fourth line, you can say. Here in the first line it is seal, in the second it is fears, in the third once again we have feel. So in the first seal and in the third, that is once again it is feel, the same pronunciation. That is the rhyming scheme, that is the rhyming words, you can say. And in the second line lasts with the word fierce, and the third one lasts with the ears. So these two words, fierce and ears, rhyme with each other. Likewise, in the second stanza ends with the word force, you can say. And once again the third line of the second stanza ends with the word course. So here that is these two words, force and course, rhyme with each other, and the same happens with the word seas and trees. The second line of the second stanza and the fourth line, that is the last line of the poem, that ends with trees. So these two words rhyme with each other. So if you talk in terms of rhyming scheme of the word, so if we find that seal is A, fierce is B, so the rhyme scheme is AB, AB. And once again, force is C, D, seas is D, so the rhyme scheme is C, CD, CD. So AB, AB, the poem is written with the rhyme scheme of AB, AB, CD, CD. So in nutshell, the gist of the poem, the summary of the poem is this: the poet is in love. He loves Lucy very much. This love has sealed his power of perception, you can say. This love has transported him into a different world where his sense of perception is not working. He feels that Lucy is beyond the control of time. She is beyond the hold of time. Her youth is perennial. Lucy is immortal. She is not going to die, but unfortunately, she dies. She passes away. She breathes her last. It shocks the poet. It shocks the poet and he gives the poem, he gives the death of the Lucy a different turn rather. He is a poet. By the way, you know, he is a great poet, so he turns the death of Lucy into a different way rather. Now he says that no doubt she is motionless, she has no motion, she can't hear, she can't live, she can do nothing like the human being, but she is not dead, she has just changed her shape, she is there in each and every particle of the earth. So dear students, I have tried my level best to deal the poem. I have tried my level best to make you comprehend the poem. You must have, I think, you must have understood, or you must have comprehended the poem. So if you feel any difficulty rather in understanding the poem, in comprehending the poem, so you must subscribe to the channel. If you like the poem, if you have got that this poem has been dealt very nicely with you people, so in that sense also you should subscribe this channel, and you must pass your comments, you must send your comments. If you have any misunderstanding, any problem in understanding or comprehending the problem, so once again you must send some comments, you can say, and I will try to discuss, I will try to solve the problems of yours. Suppose if you send comments, it boosts up you can say my morale, it strengthens me, and it charges me and to prepare the topic with more enthusiasm, with more dedication, you can say, with more devotion. So that's all for today. Live at home, stay safe. We must fight this tough situation, being tough. Thank you, and God bless you all.